Hey everybody, Bobby Moore here. It's Tuesday morning, and I just want to follow up on all the. I sent a private, I sent a message, personal message, just to my friends, not public, about the social media bullying situation that happened this weekend. And I want to thank everybody first off for all their kind words and support. It really means a lot to me. I'm glad that people are engaging in this. I'm telling you, after what I experienced, this is going to be one of my new issues. You know, I see cyberbullying and online bullying on social media. I see it on Facebook. I see it on Twitter. I even see it on LinkedIn sometimes. And it's now something that having experienced what I did this past weekend, I definitely want to fight it. I want to fight it. So let's start talking about this, right? You know, I got caught up in, so just the background here, I got caught up in a conversation this weekend with a so-called friend on Facebook, and it just got out of control. He insulted me like crazy. He said all these things about me that weren't true. He started saying things from my mouth. It was very frustrating. I got sucked in. I admit it. I screwed up. I didn't let go. I was trying really hard to be empathetic and try to get him to listen to my point of view. But you know, after the third or fourth time of repeating what I wanted to say, and he wasn't listening to it or acknowledging it, I should have let it go, and that was my fault. And it was wreaking havoc on me emotionally. I was having trouble sleeping. I wasn't eating properly. I snapped at my wife one time. So it's like, it's not worth it. Now that said, being able to identify this type of stuff is really important to everybody. If someone's doing this, warn them once that, listen, this is not appropriate behavior, and I'm not going to stand for this on my timeline. If you can't, reassert yourself or change or acknowledge what's going on in a more respectful way, then I will politely show you the door. And if they don't do that, then that's the time to do it. And so to me, that's the ideal time to do it. I was doing it over and over again. I wasn't listening. So again, that's my bad. But I also learned a lot from this situation. And again, thanks for joining me. And let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Let me know what you're really thinking, because I want to know. One of the things that really, the thing that blew my mind the most, number one, was it wasn't until Sonia Rahman said, "Bobby, you are being abused," and and I had to acknowledge that I was being emotionally abused by this person, and I was a victim. And it took me forever to think that, because I thought saying I'm a victim was kind of a weak thing to say, and saying that, or it was just an excuse. Or I was thinking how he might say, "Oh, well, Bobby's just being a victim." And you know what? I get it now. Like that was a mistake. I was a victim. So like, I think I should acknowledge that. The other thing that was really crazy, the more he said the things over and over again, the same things over and over again, all of a sudden I felt, thanks, Arv, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad I'm talking about this. Again, we should talk about this. The more he said the stuff that he said, even if it was untrue, I started to believe it. I started like, yeah, maybe there's doubt. Maybe I did do something. Or maybe, yeah, am I being a hypocrite? I don't know. Am I being illogical? Am I being unclear on what I'm trying to say? I started believing it, which, wow. That tells you how powerful it is. And again, I'm a pretty strong, stubborn, ego-minded person. Like I intimidate other people when I have conversations sometimes. But the fact that was intimidating me to like that, I can't imagine how he might treat, or other people might feel when they're bombarded with that type of stuff. Tim, I mean, it's hard to ignore, because when someone says something so vile about you on a public forum, and they say, yes, they'll say, let's say, Tim is a racist and a homophobe and he hates his mother. And if they say that, are you going to ignore it? I mean, if you're strong enough, you can delete it. Absolutely. You can delete it. I wasn't sure. I wanted to quickly say politely, these are not true. You're making assumptions about me. Like, by all means, please engage in a more respectful dialogue. And that's what I did. And then again, it should be one morning, and then that's it. And yeah, Carrie, cyberbullying is no joke, man. Like, I shared that story. I even shared his name. If you don't see it, you can go through it's deeply embedded in the post, but his name's there. Because I want people to call him out if he does it again elsewhere. I've blocked him, but I want people to call him out if he does it again. Because he was able to get to me. And that, to me, scares me, because I know if he can get to me, he can get to a lot of other people. So, to me, that's a bit of an issue. And so, yeah, the reason I got sucked in, it's hard. I mean, my general approach to cyberbullying on Twitter and whatever is I typically either will ignore it if it's like ridiculously out there, or if they say something personal about me, what I'll usually do is I'll say, one statement. That's not true. You're making an assumption. Please desist from this type of trolling or hating, whatever it might be. And then that's it. But then, once in a while on Twitter and on Facebook, they'll say something that, I feel need to respond. And in this case, it was a public, I couldn't even, maybe I couldn't believe, it was a public post. This person is a coach, is an entrepreneur. Like people will see what he's writing. Like, I couldn't believe that. So, in terms of, I'm glad, wow, there's 11 people watching the video. That's fantastic. Great. I mean, the thing is, you have to watch out for this stuff, and you got to be mindful because you end up in this tunnel vision. So, yeah, I mean, I agree, Tim. I totally get that. Like, it's hard to ignore that stuff. If someone accuses you, I typically want to respond once. That's my general rule. But, I'm also now going to be mindful of the signs. What are the signs that someone's being abusive? When they continue to say the same things over and over again, when they use harsh languages, they call you names, ad hominem attacks, when they circular arguments, their stuff. One of the things I noticed is that trollers and haters, they write in one big, long-ass paragraph. Like, it's super long. That to me, because they're like, nah, and they're just doing that, right? So it's like, wow, that's a long paragraph. So that's another thing they do, as opposed to structuring their argument. They have a lot of spelling mistakes. It's actually quite interesting to see that. Now, I talk about it because the more we talk about it, the better we're going to be able to process the emotions and deal with this kind of stuff. So has anyone here ever felt like they've been online or harassed online or bullied online? Because if you are, share below and let me know, because I'm curious. The more we talk about it, I think the better off we're going to be in terms of dealing with it, processing the emotions, and calling out the action. I see nothing wrong with, I was like debating, do I mention the person's name? Yeah, I mentioned his name. I'm not going to do it here, but because I'm going to post this on YouTube. But I did mention his name in my private Facebook post because I want people to know. And again, it wasn't like I was saying, oh, this person is evil or whatever. I said, look, this is what this person said. This is how they behaved. And you be the judge. You be the judge of what you think about that behavior. And, it starts... Now, it took me surprised because it's the first time someone who is a friend on Facebook. I mean, sometimes I have a friend or a friend, so, we all have one of those friends that talks those ways. And so I've had for several people who have commented on stuff, but they're not my friends, so they don't bother me so much. And then ultimately I don't feel bad about blocking or deleting their comments. But when it's someone man, that's when you need to... Do we sit back in silence and let it just slide? And whether it's bullying or whether it's sexism or whether it's racism, or whether it's prejudice or any sort of thing, do we sit back and let it slide? I think there's this great quote from Martin Luther King about being silent. It's almost as bad. Now I understand there's times when you don't want to get involved, you don't want to say anything. Totally get that. Or we're feeling weak and maybe I don't want to get involved, or I'm intimidated. That's fine. But if you see it and you have a chance, be polite, be professional, call out the behavior, and just say it. Maybe even create like a copy and paste on your phone, in your notes, or on your computer about, here's my typical response when people say stuff like that. Like, for example, I'm sorry, that comment is racist or prejudiced. Please desist, otherwise I'll need to end the conversation. Something like that. That's that respectfully or whatever you want to say. But create like a little thing that you can use over and over again. I think that would be really great. So there was a lot of people that commented throughout the thread. That was great. I appreciate the support. And again, the conversation to me, I'm really big on this now. I'm seeing it everywhere because, again, I'm very prolific on social media. I talk to a lot of people, and I do talk about things that are racy. I talk about politics. I talk about philosophy, religion. I talk about issues of the day. I talk about vaccines and gun control. These are things that are very sensitive issues. But I will talk about them because I think they're important to have a discussion. But I'll always listen. I'll always respond thoughtfully. I'll always do my best. If someone points something new out to me that I didn't know about, I will try to learn from it and try to be better. And I think you all should too. But the last thing I want to say is that this kind of stuff that was extreme, it creeps up. Like, you see it. Like, there's people on Facebook, even your friends, who are saying things. Like when I have political discussions, there are people that are saying catty things, or they're saying things that, it's more about them, or they're saying things like, is it true? Is it kind? Is it helpful? Is it necessary? If it's not, then maybe you shouldn't say it. You don't see me going to other people's timelines and commenting like crap on their stuff. Usually it's about something positive. Hey, congratulations on your baby, or oh, that's really. I mean, if someone shares a political or an article about an issue specifically, I may comment, but again, not to the point where I'm going to just completely. If they're my friends, I don't want to make them feel. I don't want to make them feel bad. I want to call it out in a thoughtful way. So even back in the day when people posted stuff about Stephen Harper, for example, yeah, I might say something, but I mostly was posting on my own timeline. I wasn't really commenting on other people's timelines. So if you're gonna comment on my timeline, like, be respectful, be smart. Don't be catty. I mean, jokes are good. I don't mind jokes. I like a good joke. But if the joke is that, like, in fact, this whole thing started, I was posting a silly meme of Justin Trudeau making Princess Kate swoon, and it was kind of funny. It was silly, and I was like, he's like Mufasa, from Lion King, Mufasa, ooh, Whoopi Goldberg was like Mufasa, ooh. Yeah, engage on ideas, Louis Eric. That's good. Not on people. I mean, well, sure, but that was one. I mean, that was just a silly meme for the most part. But then he commented this really cryptic thing. It was like, yeah, he's your buddy, and laugh my ass off. I'm like, and then I tried to ask for clarification, and then he segued into religion, and I was like, and I refused to answer his question because I was like, look, I'm happy to have a conversation offline. And then when he got really mad and started saying all these things, I was like, you know what, now I'm not even going to talk to you about this because you don't deserve it. You haven't earned my trust, my empathy, my connection, or anything like that. So, again, I feel like I'm ranting a bit. There's a lot of people on the call. I do appreciate you guys being here. But again, online bullying, cyberbullying, social media harassment, it happens a lot. I see it out there. If you see it, tag me, CC me on a post. Yeah, exactly. He was telling me what I believe. That is like the worst thing, to tell someone what they believe. You don't know what I believe. Don't make assumptions about me. That's usually where most discussions and most debates get caught up in two things. Number one, Tim, I know. Yeah, it's hard to understand some of what he was saying. I mean, I think he rejected religion, and so he was trying to just go on that topic. I think there's two things that come into play. Well, actually, no, I lost my train of thought here. But, yeah, I know, that's okay, Louis. Don't worry about it. I think what's interesting is that, people comment. Sometimes people comment because they have their own agenda. Sometimes people comment because they have their own fear, ignorance, or hate. Sometimes people comment because they see something that, like, let's look at the Trump-Hillary thing. I mean, if I post something pro-Hillary or anti-Trump, someone who's a Trump lover will say, well, hey, come on, Hillary sucks, and whatever, and they feel the need to comment. Similarly, if someone posts, oh my gosh, I love Trump, then someone will say, hey, you know what, Trump's this, and so people do that, and I get it. But even if you do that, you have to make sure you do it in a respectful way. Again, focus on the behaviors, focus on evidence, focus on that type of stuff. Don't make assumptions. Making us the biggest things, the two biggest things people do wrong when it comes to discussions and debates on Facebook and on social media is, number one, they make assumptions or presumptions about people or what they really think. That's one. Don't make assumptions. And the second thing is they bring their emotional bias into it. They get really upset or angry. And during that conversation, he kept saying, I'm not angry, but no, clearly he was angry. Angry people say those things. Now, how am I able to overcome this now and move on? Well, I will be very frank with you. It's all about empathy. And the biggest thing that's always helped me in the last several years is, maybe 2-3 years, hurt people. Anytime somebody lashes out to hurt you, whether purposeful or unplanned or whatever it might be, they are just projecting their hurt, projecting what they've been through, their own pain. And if you can understand that, then you're more able to let it go and more able to understand, or at least not let it bother you so much. This person was through a lot of pain. I mean, yes, I got involved and it got me upset. They probably do have low self-esteem. I agree with that, Tim. But they are struggling, and I think he was struggling. My estimation was he was struggling with his issues about having grown up in a way that he felt was really very constrictive, and then he rejected it, and it probably caused problems with his family, and so then he was lashing out. Maybe I'm a father figure. I don't know. But for the most part, people project their own pain, and if you understand that, then nothing that someone posts, whether it's about gun control or politics or religion or whatever, is going to get me too upset. I have my friends on my network. I have my own kind of feedback from people who say that I'm an okay dude, which really helps. I mean, no, that really does help. It really does help. So that's going to help me get through it. Talking about it's going to help me get through it. And now, purposefully, I want to talk about this, and I'm going to talk. I did a tweet chat yesterday on social media bullying. I posted that thing yesterday, and now I'm talking about it today. And I'll probably talk about it again. If you guys want topics on this specific thing, like I know Carrie, you were there, and Tim and other people, if you want topics, let's talk about it. I'm going to do this every day. I want to talk about online bullying. I really appreciate the work that Dave Anderson and Blake Fleischacker are doing about bullying for kids. We need to teach our kids about this stuff, right? And this morning I talked to my kids about, you're strong, you are smart, you are beautiful, and don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. You're no better than anybody else. They're no better than you. And I thought that was a really powerful message from that father who was empowering his young daughter. So for me, that stuff really resonates. So hope you found this Facebook Live chat great. I'm going to be here. I'm going to try to Facebook Live every day now, probably around 9 a.m., 8:55 a.m., that type of thing. And I'm happy to take on topics. You can comment below on any topic you want me to play. I will totally do it. All right? Thanks so much. I love you guys. Seriously. I really do. I've now gotten over that stuff. It's over now. I'm moving on. And I'm happy to talk about what helps you and what supports you. All right? Have a great day.